Listen carefully to this story, my children. In the village of Umuora lived a young man named Amaechi. He was poor, very poor, but his heart was pure like clean water. Every morning, while others slept, Amaechi would carry food to the old widow who lived alone. The villagers whispered behind his back, "That fool wastes his time helping others instead of finding money for himself." But Amaechi smiled and continued his kindness. One evening, as he returned from helping repair a neighbor's roof, he noticed someone watching him from the shadows. The shadow belonged to Nkiruka, his brother's wife. She was beautiful on the outside but poisoned with jealousy on the inside. "Why does everyone praise Amaechi?" she hissed to herself. "He has nothing, yet they respect him more than my husband who has land and cattle." That night, as the village slept, Nkiruka couldn't sleep. Her mind burned with envy like hot coals. She wanted the respect Amaechi received. She wanted people to bow when she passed. Her greed grew teeth and began eating her peace. Tomorrow, she decided, she would find a way. The next morning, Amaechi sat under the big iroko tree listening to Papa Akin, the oldest man in Umuora. "My son," Papa Akin whispered, his voice shaking like dry leaves, "I must tell you about the talking drum before I die." Amaechi leaned closer. "Our ancestors left us a sacred drum that controls the rain. When a pure heart beats it, the skies open and bless our land. But when greed touches it, disaster comes." Amaechi's eyes widened. Behind the tree, hidden in the tall grass, Nkiruka pressed her ear against the bark, listening to every single word. That night the moon hid behind dark clouds as if afraid to watch what was coming. Nkiruka crept through the village like a snake hunting prey. She reached Papa Akin's hut where the drum was kept. Her fingers stretched toward it, trembling with excitement. Suddenly, Amaechi's voice cut through the darkness. "Sister Nkiruka, what are you doing here so late?" She jumped back, her heart pounding like thunder. I was just walking," she lied, her voice sweet as poisoned honey. Amaechi looked at her suspiciously but said nothing. When dawn broke, the drum had vanished completely. Panic spread through Umuora like wildfire. "The drum is gone," villagers screamed. "Without it, the rains will never come, our crops will die, our children will starve." Amaechi felt a heavy stone settle in his chest. He remembered Nkiruka's strange behavior the night before. Without telling anyone, he began searching for clues. Near Papa Akin's hut, he found a woman's footprint in the mud, small and delicate. The footprint led toward the dark forest where even brave men feared to enter. Amaechi took a deep breath and followed the trail, unaware that hungry eyes watched him. Deep in the forest, Amaechi met a bent old woman sitting beside a dying fire. Her face was covered with a dark cloth, but her voice was clear and strong. "Young man, why do you walk where demons dance?" she asked. Amaechi explained about the stolen drum and the suffering village. The old woman laughed, not with joy but with sadness. "The drum cannot be stolen by hands, only by hearts. It chooses its master based on what lives inside them, not what they desire." She pointed a crooked finger at him. "Remember this, greed destroys but kindness creates." Meanwhile, Nkiruka held the drum in her secret hiding place, a cave behind the waterfall. "Finally," she whispered, her eyes shining with madness, "I will have power. I will make rain fall only on my husband's farm. Everyone will beg me for help." She raised the drumstick high and struck the drum with all her strength. Boom! The sound echoed through the mountains. But instead of rain, the sky turned blood red. The trees around the cave began to wither and die. Animals ran away screaming. Nkiruka struck again and again, but each beat brought only more destruction and horror. Back in the village, the sky darkened with angry clouds, but not a single drop of rain fell. Instead, the air became hot like fire, burning everything it touched. Children cried from thirst. Old people collapsed in the streets. Crops turned to dust before everyone's eyes. The village elder called an emergency meeting. "Someone has angered the ancestors," he declared. "The drum is in evil hands." Amaechi stood up, his voice steady despite his fear. "I know who took it," he said quietly. "And I know how to fix this." Everyone turned to look at him with desperate, hopping eyes. Amaechi returned to the forest to find the mysterious old woman again. This time she was standing tall, and when she removed her cloth, he gasped. She was the ancient guardian of the drum, ageless and powerful. "I have been testing you, Amaechi," she said. "I placed the drum where greed could find it to see who would come searching with pure intentions." She handed him a small seed. "Plant this where the drum now rests. Only true selflessness can break greed's curse." Amaechi took the seed, bowed with respect, and ran toward the waterfall, praying he wasn't too late. Nkiruka was still beating the drum desperately when Amaechi entered the cave. Her hair was wild, her eyes red with tears of frustration. "It won't work," she screamed. "Why won't it obey me?" Amaechi walked slowly toward her, his hands open and empty. "Sister, the drum doesn't obey commands, it responds to the heart." Nkiruka spun around, raising the drumstick like a weapon. "You want to take my power," she shrieked. "You always want to be better than me." The cave began to shake violently. Rocks fell from the ceiling. The drum glowed with angry red light, rejecting her completely. "I don't want power," Amaechi said softly, still walking closer despite the danger. "I only want to help our village survive." He planted the seed at Nkiruka's feet. Immediately, a beautiful green vine sprouted, growing rapidly and wrapping gently around the drum. The angry red light changed to peaceful gold. Amaechi placed his hand on the drum and it responded instantly. Boom, boom, boom. The rhythm was like a mother's heartbeat, steady and loving. The cave stopped shaking. Outside, the sky opened, and clean, sweet rain poured down like tears of joy. Nkiruka collapsed, crying bitterly, finally understanding her terrible mistake. The rain lasted for 3 beautiful days, saving every crop and filling every well. Umuora celebrated with dancing and thanksgiving. Amaechi returned the drum to its sacred place, but the guardian appeared one final time. "You have passed the greatest test," she told him before the entire village. "The drum will remain here, but its spirit now lives in your actions. Teach others what you have learned." Amaechi looked at Nkiruka, who stood ashamed in the corner. Instead of anger, he felt only pity. He walked to her, took her hand, and said, "Come, sister, let me teach you about true wealth." My dear friends, Amaechi's story is not just old history. It lives today in every choice we make. When you see someone in need, do you walk past them or do you stop to help? When jealousy whispers in your ear, do you listen or do you count your blessings instead? Kindness is the only power that never destroys. Greed is the only poverty that never ends. Which path will you choose? Share this story with someone who needs to hear it today. Subscribe to learn more wisdom from our ancestors. Remember, a good heart is worth more than a mountain of gold.